were.
Yeah, the recorded broadcast, and there is the picks and bans for you all laid out. Morgana, Lulu, Hecarim taken away on the side of SAJ. Rek'Sai, Lissandra, Maokai, you know, pretty standard bans, just power picks for most of these players. The Morgana and Lulu, of course, stand out a little bit, but nothing all too special. Saigon Jokers, though, they've picked up a composition that has both quite strong team fighting with Rumble, Sejuani, and Annie, with a little bit of assassination potential coming in from Lovita's Zed.
So, very good split push as well from Levita. And Nixwater getting his comfort champion in the form of Rumble. Normally he plays either Rumble, Maokai, or Lissandra, getting one out of the three. Isn't too bad for him.
Yep.
That Sejuani rising to popularity now, being taken away by safety. And Lovita, the assassin specialist for SAJ, getting the assassin himself, the Master of Shadows. Should be a rather good composition from SAJ. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, it is Saigon Fantastic 5 or Zizi on Sion, or Zizi himself. I think I like to say, even though Saigon Fantastic 5 has been sort of falling in terms of performance here and there, they've been a bit shaky, but Zizi has been the brick wall for this team. Jinky on that Jarvan, not too bad, still a rather strong pickup despite the nerfs to his armor early on, and Optimus on that LeBlanc.
Seems like SF5 has put together a composition that has a bit more potential to explode somebody right off the bat, maybe a little bit more pick potential. But I think it's going to be a very exciting match. We've got the Fires and Flames of Rumble on the side of Saigon Jokers, along with the Ice of Sejuani.
Yeah.
It makes for very formidable team fighting. And we'll have to see. Again, these players, these two Saigon teams, honestly have swapped back and forth, brought in new players. It's really a confusing mix. We'll have to see how cohesive they look when it comes to these team fights.
Yeah, on the blue side, SAJ, the Fire and Ice. And you know what they say about a song of Fire and Ice? People die. So SAJ will be looking to kill people off in this game, whereas SF5, a bit more pick potential in the LeBlanc. But we'll see if Minus on his Lucian can start the carry train. Carrot in the support role has been playing a lot more of that recently. Switching over, was the mid laner before for SAJ, but now in support for SF5. He's been playing a lot more mages, but now taking on the Thresh could be a bit shaky in terms of performance.
Oop. Yushin getting checked out right there.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
In terms of positioning, doesn't look like anything too sneaky. Should have our 2v2s.
Yeah. Well, Carrot did start with that Baran shield, so wants to absorb some of the auto attack damage coming in from Yushin as well as Su. Looks like a 2v2 lane, or just as I say that, Yushin recalls. Wants to heal up some health and walk back to the bot lane, so no lane swaps, nothing tricky like that coming in, but a deep ward being put down on the Gromp will give SF5 some knowledge of where SHA's jungler starts.
Interesting as well that in terms of regions and the AD carry picks, Lucian has really only survived or been played to any level of prominence in the EU as well as to GPL.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a kind of fun fact for our viewers out there. You know, a lot of other regions it's still been Sivir, Corki, but Lucian has been coming up, you know, quite a fair deal in our GPL games.
Yeah, Lucian, of course, like a bit of a Graves light, Graves, some may say?
Yeah, yeah. We do, of course, see the minion execute onto Ozizi's Sion. That is not a mistake for any of our viewers who are not up to date with the meta. That is something Sion does to get a very quick level 2. Goes back to lane with a few more items, and of course, that experience advantage.
Yeah, but early shoving up by Nixwater already, so the wave is going to return shove in favor of him, and Ozizi might get zoned out. A big carrot. Taking a bit of damage and ignite onto Yushin, though the hook not available, Flay was used. Su will be able to return some damage for his teammate, put some revenge damage down, and Carrot Minus coming out ahead of that one despite using the ignite.
Dashing in, getting already one double tap down. Ooh, that could have been absolutely huge if Su got tagged. Yushin still very, very aggressive despite his diminished health bar.
Yeah, both teams hitting level 2 here, and this should be the signal for one of them to activate something. Carrot wants to find the Flay into the hook. He flays Yushin in the hook, not really going out just yet. Carrot will be tanking the damage for Lucian, and hook connects onto Yushin now. Minus will pick up the kill. Will he? No. The heal goes down to save Yushin. Once more, the Flay, the first blood going over to Carrot, and now Su in a whole lot of trouble. Carrot will be taken out and flashed away by Su. So support for support, but the first blood going over to SF5.
Wow. Very, very intense stuff on the bottom side, actually. We saw... Oh, man, this is a mistake from Su. I mean, I was just about to credit Su for, you know, being the one to pick up the kill as opposed to the support on the side of Carrot. But he had to expend his flash to get away. It was a flashy escape. It was good. Not sure if he thought Minus had already flashed, because that was a very strange thing for him to do, to actually, you know, go back in.
The issue with Su is that we've seen him playing the support role for SAJ previously together with Prince, but now that Prince has sort of disappeared up in a puff of smoke, he has to fill the place of the AD carry role, and his mobility and positioning has not been doing too well. Optimus under fire here. When I say fire, it's more of like ice. He has to juke around this, gets the return damage back onto Safety. Safety has to flash away. The Ignite will take him down, and the flash by Optimus to keep himself safe. Will he take down to the Ignite? Yes, he will. Lovita will pick up the return kill. Lovita in a lot of trouble now despite getting the kill. Dangerous game, keeping him a bit healthy, but it will be Jinky to exert the pressure and take the wave for himself.
Yeah, very calm and coolly played by Lovita right there. Not so much from Safety, though.
Yeah.
Unlike his name, you know, and unlike his champion, he looked very, very uncomfortable under the tower right there. Gets literally roasted by the Ignite and then just popped by Jinky's arrival. So quite a scrappy game we have on our hands already. 5 minutes in when we have 5 kills.
Now we should see a very scrappy game. It tends to be the case between SAJ and SF5. They know each other so well due to the fact that they are sister teams, hence look to fight quite a lot instead of strategically outmaneuvering one another. Flame Spirit gonna put some damage onto Ozizi, and here Yushin just gets caught out once more. Has the stun available but decides not to use it. Lantern and Flay combination will put Carrot and Minus in front of this lane. The favor definitely going to SF5. Just a Light Slinger, excuse me, to put some poke onto Su, and in the mid lane just Lovita putting the return damage onto Optimus, who for all intents and purposes went for double Durans into Amplifying 2. Whereas Birchwater Cutlass was the pickup by Lovita, so he's going to look for that all-in at level 6.
A bit of a lapse in communication between the duo of SAJ and their jungler. Safety has been sitting on a ward that was placed in that bush for quite some time, so a lot of knowledge gained overall for SF5. What is Jinky's, you know, action, excuse me, choice of action then? Looks like it's the head mid lane against Lovita.
Lovita has to flash away from the flag and drag. Not connecting means that Optimus will not find full-up crowd control, and now Su and Yushin getting zoned out so hard by Carrot. Hook Flay not being used just yet, but Su has to quick draw away the Lantern used by Carrot to save or mitigate some damage onto Minus. SF5 bot lane coming out very far ahead of this time and time again, finding those plays onto priority targets, be it Su or Yushin. Both of them are actually pretty priority, so Carrot showing his worth as a support now instead of a mid laner.
Top side as well as bottom side, we see CS leads being gathered actually, 48 to 37. Saigon has just been, you know, ever since the change, just been unshakable in lane. And it just keeps getting more and more massive. And I think it'll really come down to the team fight, where you see that Saigon has a very straightforward kit. He's very, very predictable. You can't do too many things that are tricky with him. But in lane, it's really where, you know, none of that matters. Just unshakable. And we'll have to see. I do think Rumble has the advantage when it comes to teamfight presence. More impact. But so far, right now, Azizi's doing a fantastic job just building a lead for himself.
Yeah, pings down the jungle. Jinky as well as Minus will be looking to take this away from Safety, who is going to be rather sad after the red buff is stolen. Su has to be very careful. Buckshot onto 2 members, not dealing a lot of damage, just for a slight amount of poke. And SAJ lose one big objective so early on. Well, I say big, they lose a map objective early on. SF5 coming out ahead in terms of gold now. 900, slightly under 1,000 in their pockets.
Right, just standard laning honestly, with SF5 coming out ahead, and might be a bit of a trouble for them. We talk about how in terms of power levels, you know, Graves definitely, I think, without dispute, sitting on top of the, ooh, calling popped right there. Yushin actually just getting pelted relentlessly by Minus. But we talk about how Graves, in terms of strongest AD carries in the meta, currently brings the most burst. But in terms of the CS differential, you know, Minus is doing a good job to make the case that even in the early and mid game,
Yeah.
he'll be putting out more damage just due to the fact of the item curves. And I think once you get to late game as well, ooh, good try with the collateral damage to steal. Minus on Lucian, you know, he's more mobile than Graves, and he can dodge more spells. If he gets a good good culling, can actually, you know, be much safer range when you're dealing your damage.
Oh, mid lane Lovita goes in onto Optimus. The Shuriken not connecting, but it will be the Glacial Prison to lock him up. One more auto attack by Lovita. Gets Optimus, and bot lane Yushin gets the double tap onto him. Su has to dodge away. Carrot and Minus getting very low. Once again, just trading back and forth in the bot lane for the upkeep time. Yushin moving forward, wants to get the Incinerate. Very aggressive play by the Annie, who has yet to hit level 6 though. Gets hooked up, the box available, so the Flay will be used there. The flash as well to get away to safety. So Carrot miscalculating his damage and survivability. Goes in a bit too deep on that one and has to pay the price.
A little bit reckless from Carrot right there, but a little bit funny from Yushin as well. Both of them having to flash away will mean that Su has a little bit more time to just push out this wave alongside Yushin to clear it and back for more items. Minus already building up to that Infinity Edge, and I wonder if Lovita does go on his split push duties. I do think that the 4 members of SAJ actually are strong enough to hold against the 5v4. Rumble and Sejuani, I think, were picked for that purpose. So it does seem, in terms of compositions, even if the laning phase isn't quite going SAJ's favor, except with the exception of Lovita, SAJ aren't feeling all too bad, right? It's only a 600 gold deficit. In terms of kills, they're all matched anyway, so they really shouldn't be feeling like they're too far behind.
The mid game is where SAJ is going to strive, and they're going to be controlling dragons really well with the Equalizer and Glacial Prison, as well as Tibbers. Once those are available to them, they need to get access to those ultimates before they can start contesting objectives though, so it is expected for them to kind of fall behind in lane, especially with the early kerfuffle by by Su and Yushin to give Minus and Carrot the early advantage. 2 kills in the bot lane is where SF5 is thriving, and jungle as well, Jinky has one of his own now. Minus looking to find a kill to Yushin, uses the Relentless Pursuit and the culling, but would not connect fully, taking Yushin down very low, but still not did any point soon.
And this Lucian is becoming a little bit of an issue. Looks like in terms of gang pressure, it's been turned around. Nicely juked out by SAJ's Lovita. Almost takes Optimus with him actually, so fancy moves. Oh, a nice catch from Carrot, predicting the juke.
Oh, the Ignite.
Oh, Ignite is ticking. Minus flashing in aggressively for the kill.
Yeah, he has to take the Lantern out. Minus running away from Nyx Water. Rumble in the bot lane. Equalizer available. Hasn't used it yet to lay out the red carpet if he wants to continue the chase, but deciding better against it now. SAJ find themselves in a deeper hole once more. SF5 bot lane so aggressive picking up kills, and now this is 2 kills over to Minus, who does pick up the BF sword. Jinky in the jungle will smite the wolf for the spirit and some information around his own jungle. ZZ just a brick wall, as you mentioned, the top lane cannot be moved. Went for the early Spectre's Cowl and then into the Glacial Shroud, so itemizing very effectively early on. Cheap resistances and statistics in terms of defensive and offensive to help himself out. Cooldown reduction, very important when you play the Saigon.
Yeah, 20 plus CS lead for both Azizi and Minus over their lane counterparts. Lovita is pretty much the only person that is winning his lane, and he's done a fantastic job even denying some of the aggressive ganks coming in, or ganks coming in from Jinky, I should say. Wow, very aggressive from Jinky, wanting to lock him down alongside Azizi's ultimate, which is, you know, quite comically dodged out.
No pain train there today, as Azizi not really connecting with the onslaught, or unstoppable onslaught, excuse me. Safely there in the jungle will get spotted out, and vision control once again by SF5. Very heavily contested Yushin. A bit of a deja vu situation where he walks over the wall to find multiple members sitting in that brush, and safety is very well stolen again. Deja vu for him now, as he has to teleport to top to deal with the push coming in from Su's Graves. Turret not too healthy at this point.
It's quite interesting. So Dragon will be coming up in about a minute, and that will mean that the teleport advantage... Oh no, excuse me. Nyx Water's teleport was used as well. I don't think that will be available in a minute's time. But I'm liking what SF5 is doing. Multiple times going into the enemy's red buff area to steal that away. Get some deep vision down as well. If you look at the mini-map, that bottom side is just littered with SF5 wards. And they're making use of this 1,002 gold lead, you know. Oh, Optimus.
Might get caught out here. Has to flash away. Deathmark is still onto him. The Glacial Prison will lock him out. Two big ultimates being used, and they find a kill in the form of Optimus. Big investment, but big reward as well. They may get this tier 1 mid turret, unless Jinky has something to say about it, but he decides to back off. So this should be SAJ's big fish being reeled in here.
SAJ have just been camping, you know, the living daylights out of Optimus. Those 3 kills onto Lovita are just all due to the fact that safety has come to middle multiple times. Now bringing Yushin. 10 seconds onto the dragon spawn. Nixwater actually going for... I think he needs the shop. He's been sitting on his Haunting Guys for quite a while, but oh, look at this. Maybe he doesn't even need the shop. Minus actually has to pop his heal.
Yeah, the Equalizer is still available as well. Minus might want to go into this if he can find the angle. He has the flash to gap close onto Minus, but Relentless Pursuit up in 3 seconds. Lucian very hard to kill. 2 members tag teaming the Scuttle Crab. What did he ever do to you guys? Leave him alone.
Alright, SF5 were the first to take the dragon, meaning that they have the timer on it, but here comes SAJ putting down their wards. This Zed though, whoever he picks to destroy is in a lot of trouble, and Minus, gotta get out of there, buddy. Death Mark on cooldown, but Equalizer is available. Sejuani's ultimate on cooldown as well. SAJ, honestly, without their ultimates, aren't in the best position to fight right now, but SF5 don't want to put themselves in that narrow corridor anyways.
They're still able to edge them out of the river though, so despite major ultimates being down, SAJ having the space to make the power play, and this is SF5's window. They have the unstoppable onslaught if they want to force a fight. Chain that into a hook, and that's a big member of SF5 falling. SAJ falling, excuse me. Both teams deciding not to take Dragon, but switching over for turrets now. Bot respectively for SAJ and mid for SF5.
Yeah, neither team deciding to go for the Dragon at the end of the day. Just as I say that, SAJ actually dedicating some of their members to take the Dragon. But this does of course mean that middle is open for SF5. They have Minus, who has already completed that Infinity Edge. Will be able to take down mid tower very, very easily, but a good ultimate from Nixwater saying, alright, you guys don't want to take the Dragon? I'm not going to use my ultimate there. You want to focus on mid? I'll make sure I clear the wave there. Lovita and Su should be able to get down this mid tier.
Optimus
tier 1
is way too far behind to even try and make a play onto this, so should go over to SAJ now. 2 turrets to 1. CS all about even though, despite the turret lead. Both teams just going to recall for the next set of items, and the lane distribution will be Minus to go to the top lane to clear the out Infinity Edge on the Lucian already, and Su should be finishing off his Infinity Edge here as well. If not, at least the Brutalizer, considering he has 2 long swords. OZZ will find the blue buff, or at least SAJ's blue buff in the jungle, and take that away from himself. Minus once again evening up the turret score, so both teams very evenly matched. It seems to be the case with this game since their teams know each other very well.
Oh, sad.
Safety smited
Sad
away.
Panda Azuzi. Spent so much time at the blue buff. Might even get taken down here. Quite a commitment from safety. Actually managing to cancel the ultimate from Azizi's ultimate by just placing himself in front of him. There is the damage coming in from Lovita, using the Ignite as well, just saying, we don't want you to have any way to get out of this. 2 ultimates and an Ignite used, but yet another kill onto Lovita Zed.
It was the Arctic Assault into cancelling of the Unstoppable Onslaught that bought time for Lovita to come around. 2 ultimates once again being blown by SAJ, the Glacial Prison, and Deathmark to pick someone off, and time again, that's what SAJ has been doing so well, finding picks with these very crucial ultimates despite no objectives being up for contest. So making the best out of a mediocre situation.
Oh, they've got him locked down.
Double Tibbers and the collateral damage will be the case for SAJ. A lot of disengage being put forth by SF5, and they will be able to get away safe. Optimus under fire now. The Equalizer under his feet has to dodge away the hook, the chains onto him. Will keep him safe. And speaking of chains, the hook not connecting with the Su, so both teams scrapping a lot and very aggressively early on. SAJ still not coming out here despite all the action around Their team OZZ looking to get caught out here is Yushin and Levita tag teaming. 3 members now. Safety joins in the fight. Flashes away Saigon, still very tanky, uses the roll of the Slayer. The decimating smash to knock 2 members up. He has the kite around his turret. Deathmark being paused by Levita here should finish him off. One more auto attack, there he goes. Oh, the Soul Furnace keeps him alive for only slightly longer now. The Shadow will take him down, and Safety has run away. Yushin as well getting taken very low. In the bot lane, Optimus as well as Jinky are just shoving the wave out into the turret, and they will find one in response.
SAJ time and time again have just used Annie as well as Safety, you know, as just this roaming dev squad, really. Lovita has picked up so many kills off the back of these two coming to help him. And that's very, very worrisome signs. You know, LeBlanc minus... LeBlanc and Lucian, rather, you know, both of those aren't going to have any kind of way to survive a very fed Zed other than, you know, seriously outplaying him. And even then, I can only imagine, you know, if Jinky goes in, especially if this double brutalizer build, you know, he's so squishy.
Yeah.
Very, very squishy. It's a bit like game number 1, honestly, when the LeBlanc got so fed. And when Assassin gets that fed, it just draws so much respect and so much focus from your team.
You never want an Assassin to get rolling, indeed, because that's gonna put all your plans to waste. OZZ, the only tanky member on SF5, building a good amount of armor and magic resistance, and just as you say that Jinky has to be more tanky, he picks up a Giant's Belt and the Mercury Threads to show you what's what. Yushin narrowly dodging out the hook, or Su narrowly dodging out the hook. We have to look at Su though, the focus will be on him to position properly in fights, because he has been mispositioned quite a lot in his previous showings in the GPL. Speaking of misposition, there you go, getting caught snoozing on the job recall. Hook flashed away though.
Su!
Proving me right once again, Su in the wrong place at the wrong time. There should be mid lane turret.
Sloppy. Sloppy from Su right there, and that might actually feature quite big in the next fight, which should be right around Dragon in a minute and a half. Have to say that this has been a relatively slow past 6, I want to say. Honestly, with stuff like Cataclysm, Scion Ultimate, Rumble Ultimate, Sejuani Ultimate.
I was expecting a bit more of a explosive team fight in multiple cases.
Exactly.
Because, as you mentioned, massive ultimates available to both teams, and it's so even. Perhaps the teams are just kind of playing it safe, so they don't risk losing anything just yet.
And I think the reason why we haven't seen those explosive 5-on-5 fights as well is just due to the fact that SAJ have been so good at picking off members of SF5. You see Annie and Sejuani roaming, and somebody's alone in the lane, thinking that, you know, maybe the first time you can kind of make the excuse and say, you know, really, why is Annie here as well as Sejuani? You know, you're not ready for the full 3-on-1, but that's happened about 3 times now.
Playoffs.
SAJ have pulled this 3v1 situation on Optimus, on Ozeze, and that's something SF5 needs to catch on to.
Yeah, the lack
SAJ
of
doesn't care about the 5v5 at this point in time.
The
They're
lack
just
of
gonna find you 3v1.
capitalization is something SF5 has been doing a lot this game. They have not moved on the fact that SAJ expends a lot of resources to pick up a couple of things across the map, and have been letting them get away scot-free with these kills. Minus starting to ramp up very quickly, has the Zeal in his pocket. In response, Brutalizer and Infinity Edge for Su, but no crit multiplier yet, so that Infinity Edge not worth its full weight in gold just yet.
Yep, to their credit, SF5 are just slightly, ever so slightly ahead in gold by about 1,000. But again, the question that should be on our viewers' minds is it enough? Because once the 5v5, you know, breaks out, composition is looking very, very good for SAJ, and Rumble will need the TP, and that TP is rather far and rather late, actually.
Yeah, Safety will be on the backlines. Jinky using the Cataclysm, escaping Equalizer only until Azizi, and that's not the member you want. Levita jukes forward to the Shadow. The Tibbers will only catch Carrot out, and that's the support a lot being expanded. Not even picking up the Thresh Death Mark. Available still, and Levita has his flash. Doesn't want to find anyone on this map. Will be able to spot a Minus Death Mark onto him. Blade of the Rain King used. Minus getting taken very low, the heal, but juked back. Lovita will be taken down by the Sigil of Malice. Mimic Sigil of Malice. The tier 2 mid lane will be falling next as SAJ manages to convert their objective control of the bot side into the mid lane. Now here comes Optimus. Will he be responding with some action of his own? Distortion not being used to follow up, only used to pick up Tibbers and the chain onto Nick for some cheeky damage. SF5 come on here from that one with the Dragon as well as the pickup on Levita. Still saving the mid-tier 2 turret.
Yeah, I'm starting to have to, I'm gonna have to revise my opinion, honestly, on the mentality of SAJ. I said that they don't care about the 5v5 just due to the fact that SF5 were offering, you know, so many solo pickings for them. But you know, when you're pushed to the situation and a 5v5 is the best option, you need to be ready to take that.
Yeah.
They had SF5 in the pit. Oh, Stu actually has no mana.
Stu has no mana. Has the Infinity Edge though, so we'll pick up the blue buff there. I believe it wasn't Carrot who got it, but the AD carry himself, Graves, got it. The blue buff.
Yeah, so back to the Dragon Point again, as you should get right here.
Equalizer
Will
to save him though.
not drop. Ah, yes, they
For
drop in
honest-
the end. I see them into the red buff of Jinky. But again, back to that Dragon Point, which was the perfect time for SAJ to bring all their AOE team fighting, you know, to the table. They were late to it, and it was not
now,
a case
guys,
of I don't
we're gonna
want
go for
to, right? Which was just means, you know, you don't even TP in. Maybe you go
Yeah.
split push with Lovita. It's just, you know, a half answer, a half mind, and that's something that SF5 has taken advantage of. And now, not only are they up by the Dragon, they have about a 2,000 plus gold lead. Not monstrous, but it's showing that, you know, it's not quite the fact that SAJ don't want the 5v5. It's the fact that they aren't decisive enough to.
Yeah, they aren't committing to these fights. They're just hovering around saying, oh, we could go in for this if we want, but what they need to do is group up as a unit and land their ultimates that count. You need the Glacial Prison, the Equalizer layered on top. Even starting the fight with the Flash Tibbers to buy your team time is what SAJ needs to be doing. Not just meandering around the mid lane or the river and saying, this is where we can fight now. Next one, they're going to dodge out of that.
Yeah.
Very simply.
Many awkward signs from SAJ that really point to them needing to be more cohesive as a unit. There was the late Rumble TP, which was very far back by, as well. And then the Flash Tibbers onto Jess Carrot.
Yeah.
And then Lovita tries to find a solo kill, even when, you know, the rest of his team is clearly not in a position to back him up.
The weird thing is
Strange.
Deathmark is best used in the chaos of a fight where you layer all the crowd control down and SF5 is scrambling around to figure out who to protect and where not to walk on. That's when you use the Deathmark, not when the rest of the members of your target is just hovering around and can respond with exhaust, with heal, with double distortion.
Very, very true. So, SAJ falling a little bit behind right now. 2,000 gold. SF5, what will they do though? They still need to respect SAJ's team composition. Split pushing for them not quite an option in the sense that yes, they can send Azizi to do that. But then it really depends, honestly, I feel, on whether or not SAJ can just get it together to pull the trigger.
Yeah, Nixwater has picked up the Liandry's though, so that's a response to
Yes.
Azizi. Percentage damage on spellcast will be able to deal with this very tanky HP stacking Saigon, so Nixwater knows how to counteract this, and Lovita will spot Jinky out. A lot of health already on this Java and Warmocks being completed. Gonna heal the damage up rather soon, and this is SAJ in a bit of a power trough. What do they do now? Because there are no objectives to be taken up until 1:30, and they can't really respond with a push because Graves is so low ranged. It becomes so easy for SF5 to engage a fight with the Unstoppable Onslaught, with the Cataclysm as well. So SAJ a bit lost now.
You can see that they're considering their options, right? They've sent Lovita to the bottom lane, basically the lane which doesn't hold the Scion to split push. And then Nixwater is supposed to hold up Azizi or at least match him in lane, and then match him in the team fights as well. So what Lovita needs to do is basically split push, yes, in the lane without Scion. Maybe take out Optimus around the Dragon Timer, you know, just a minute left. And that will be a very clear case of a 5v4. But on top of that, I really just have to say, the 4 members on the side of SAJ, Nyx Waters, Rumble, and Safety Sejuani especially, just need to be willing to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
They've given actually a lot of time for Jinky, especially to get his defensive stats, as well as the Zhonya's onto Optimus as well. Which means that the conditions for a successful engage have just become a lot harder. It's really, really difficult now to take down somebody.
Deathmark being used, and he will be popped before he even goes off. Zonya's Hourglass by Optimus will keep him safe now. Safety has committed into the fight. double distortion and chains. Not being proc though, safety still in the brush. A pink ward there will mean that there's no vision from SF5, and the turret was taken in the mid lane by Minus while all that was going on the bottom. The collapse coming through here. Carrot, Minus, Jinky, and Optimus wants to take down the second last outer ring of turrets for SF5. The last one being the top lane here, and it will be down to Auzizi to get the push over onto Nyx Water.
Yeah, so this is exactly my point. Now that Jinky and Optimus have their Warmogs and Zhonya's respectively, Zed really only has one target left that is of value on the team, and that is Minus. And if he has his summoners as well as his, Relentless Pursuit available to him, Lovita's gonna have a very, very difficult job in the team fights. And this is warning signs for the SAJ squad. They, honestly, I feel like missed a big power spike in the mid game.
Yeah.
And it's not something that SF5 completely capitalize on. It's more they're just wondering, oh, we have a very smooth mid game that I honestly think should have been a lot rougher for them.
We were talking early on about when the Dragon spawns, when Equalizer and Glacial Prison are available for SAJ.
And Tibbers.
Yeah, Tibbers as well. That's when they start their fights and start catching these 5v5 team fights. But SF5 has just been walking all over SAJ. SAJ not really finding a response. Instead, finding these random one-member picks. Yushin flashes forward to stop the unstoppable onslaught. But I have to think that was a bit misplanned. Of course, the Arctic Assault was already in place, and here comes Carrot to provide some support. The box being used, the Equalizer as well in response. Now here comes Minus to deal the remaining damage. He will find Nyx Water, who is still rather squishy. He gets one. Will he find two? Yushin stuns him out. 2 kills will be going over onto Minus. The triple available, but he can't catch Safety in time. The Lantern brings him forward. Will he use the heal? The heal to speed himself up. Safety gets spotted out by the scrying orb. Glacial Prison turns around for some damage, but have to think a bit unfounded there. Sue as well as company come up. They see Jinky in the jungle, and their smoke was used, but he flashes away. Will be popped by the last portion of it together with the collateral damage. The respawn here from Auzizi, or excuse me, the teleport from Auzizi will help SF5 secure the final outer turret as long as they stay together. Now Sue getting poked out very heavily. One more light slinger as well. Piercing light and light slinger combination will take him out.
Some smooth moves coming in from Minus right there, boosting his kill score up to a total of 4, 0, and 2, making Sue look very, very impotent. And my SF5, I mean, SAJ are just playing the composition very, very strange, you know. They use a lot of the AoE focus onto the tankiest member of Zuzi, and they don't even manage to get him down.
Yeah. And then the death mark only onto Jinky.
Yeah,
instead
and I
of
mean,
Minus, who was in the fight.
Let's just put it into perspective for our viewers. 30 minutes in, those spells are very, very important. You use those to force a team fight and then take objectives off of them. You don't use them on the tankiest member on the enemy team and in fact have it turned on you, right? Giving Minus a double kill. I mean, it's really just looking very, very uncoordinated from SAJ.
We were talking about the role swaps on SAJ before, about how as a unit they've not been working the same anymore. Blade of the Ring King, the flash once again from Lovita to stop that. And with a lot more armor penetration on these two champions, it will be easier to take Auzizi down. So cutting away, doesn't have any lifesteal, but that's fine because Yomu's Ghostblade was used in that fight. Now both mid laner and AD carry for SAJ have Yomu's Ghostblade, so if they do win a fight and pop that Yomu's Ghostblade, they should be able to siege relatively quickly. Safety gonna get spotted out by Jinky. Flag and Drag not onto him, but the Cataclysm will be followed up with the Distortion. They pick up Yushin. Optimus is the one to find a kill. SF5 now 6,000 gold ahead. Carrot as well as Minus has grouped together with the rest of this team. SAJ very far behind despite having the strong mid-game ultimates here. Looking uncoordinated as a unit.
It's just SF5 using their composition better than SAJ. I mean, you can see they don't need 3 members to take down 1 person or even 2. They use 2 members. They use the assassin and they use the crowd control provided by Jarvan. And that's all they need. And that's the strength of the composition. You know, if SF5 had tried to do something silly like, you know, team fight with just, you know, those 2 members, then that would be like what SAJ is doing. They're using their team fight to try and assassinate the tankiest member. I mean, they're gonna go for it again right here, but honestly, unless they can pick up the tier 2, it's quite silly. And there's one big team fight ultimate used. Azuze will be dropping down eventually from the def mark. I have to think. There you go. But the collapse once again. Minus. Again, there's no ultimate from Sejuani to stop him, and they don't even get the tier 2 from it. This is just more and more kills coming Minus's way. 6-0 and 2 right now.
Oh, Optimus jukes it back. Yushin might try to find him, but one more distortion will bring him to safety of the woods now. On the top side, SF5, Jinky, Carrot, as well as Minus. They have grouped up. They won the last outer turret, and the objective play from the Fantastic Five much better than the sister team, the Jokers. At this point in time, just not finding the kills and the team fights that they need. All credit to SF5 though, they have been doing a good job to avoid these massive fights, but SAJ should have done a better job of pressing the issue.
Yeah, SAJ have been giving them, you know, collapse after collapse. That Minus, you have to worry. Again, even though, yes, the Death Mark and Lovita is so fed that Minus has the potential to be soloed out, the amount of damage he'll get down or even just, you know, throw in the face of Lovita will be immense. SF5 honestly have a very, very strong case for just being able to overpower just by virtue of the fact that their AD carry will be smashing through, you know, pretty much every single member on the side of SAJ.
Yeah.
Once he gets that last whisper though. At this point in time, again, SAJ still have the potential for very strong team fighting. They've got the Randuins as well.
I would think that once Mikhail's or the QSS is completed for Minus, that's the point where SAJ are.
They think he went back, but no, he's still in your jungle. Oh, they're pinging it now. I think that they maybe have guessed. Oh, he's just gonna get away for free.
Oh, the pings are going down though. The Arctic Assault into the Glacial Prism. Minus getting caught out here. Death Mark wasn't used. Lovita will pop it finally, and down goes the Lucian, not before taking some damage or putting some damage back onto Lovita. And Dragon was secured by his team in the midst of all that. So despite losing the AD carry, SF5 reply with a map objective of their own. 4-1 now in terms of Dragons.
Yeah, 4 Dragons. Absolutely huge. Minus finally getting taken down. That's his first death. What exactly will SAJ do off of this? They do catch Jinky. There's a good explosion, but again, costly. A lot of ultimates down.
Yeah,
is there any kind of reply from the side of SF5? 2 members down though, and importantly, the jungler. This is a nice move from SAJ. Set up vision around Baron, get the pick, and then take it for themselves.
They did use the Tibbers as well as the collateral damage, but Nyx Water getting hooked in. Unstoppable onslaught onto Su as well as Yushin, and the Equalizer response to keep themselves safe, but Baron still aggroing damage onto the members of SAJ. Will be SAJ to pick that up. Safety smited it away now. 4 members, 5 members have to escape from this fight. SF5 tried to put up a reply but couldn't find the engage and opening that they need. The Equalizer was too good by Nyx Water to disengage, and OZZ, despite a good unstoppable onslaught onto 2, no jungler means no smite contest.
Yeah, honestly, this is just a very funny game because the swinging point or the turning point or at least a balancing point right here in the Baron was SAJ finding the picks, you know, with a team comp that, I mean, yes, they can explode people, but you can see it cost them ultimates.
Yeah.
It cost them ultimates on 1 member, but somehow that works out in their favor to get the objective, mostly due to the fact that it was the jungler, I believe. But in any other, you know, circumstance, if it was another champion, SF5, you know, you can see that they're just a team that plays their competition better. They know the ultimates are down, and they're not afraid to throw Saigon into the mix of it. Even with a numerical disadvantage, they recognize that compositionally, SF5 are just more confident. More assured of their own play.
Holy crap, it is the Banner of Command coming in for SF5.
This is great.
They picked up the Banner of Command on Scion, so they can pressure the side lanes ever so slowly while promoting their minions. And SAJ will be pressured once that moves up. Now Yomu's Ghostblade being used to get some damage onto Azizi, but the response culling coming in is too strong, clears out the wave. Yushin and Su getting taken very low, but the turret will go down. The hook onto safety, and that's who they want. Right in this fight, Desmani Smash knocks him up. Yushin trying to find the entrance into this fight, has the flash and Tibbers. Will not use it though, and here comes the unstoppable onslaught onto Yushin. Su very dangerous now, in a bad position, and in the back is Nyx Water with the Equalizer, but gets taken down. Double kill now for Minus. Will he get the triple death mark onto Optimus? Sonya's Hourglass being popped. Flash as well by Lovita being used to get away now. Minus. The relentless pursuit will be up soon, so Lovita might not be able to get away the chase from Carrot as well. The Lantern to put him into range. Won't get the clip onto the Lantern, and they've gotten a lot of Baron buffs off multiple members of SAJ. Now SF5 might be looking to activate something with this promoted minion in the mid lane.
That Banner of Command doing a lot of work actually, keeping that minion alive for a long time. Minus! Oh, minus the greed!
Minus sticks around for too long, gets taken down by La Vida there. You still can't underestimate the damage coming from Zed, who has a lot of AD in his pocket now.
Yeah, let's not...
Slightly under 400 AD per auto attack, that's insane.
Yeah, I mean, let's not take away from Lovita. He is doing a fantastic... Or rather, he has a fantastic... He's been having a fantastic game off a lot of committed ultimates to help with his assassination.
And speaking of ultimates, he does find Carrot here with the death mark. Will pop that Thresh right out of there, and it was the ward in the Pixel Brush that allowed him to cancel the recall and chase him all the way out. Now SAJ, 5 members compared to the 2 that SF5 have lost.
Not sure why Houston didn't just fire his W. Optimus should be dead. As you can see, even Safety just charging into him takes him down to about half HP. Very questionable ultimate coming in from Nixwater right here, and the members of SAJ actually trapped within the base of SF5. What is going on right here? It's so messy between these two teams. Su has joined the fight though, as well as actually Minus, so he is... Oh wow, Minus actually gonna get exploded right here. No!
Oh, the Flame Spitter might take Minus down. The culling in response. The fadeaway kill coming in from SF5, and that is a ace at the expense of Jinky. SAJ overcommitting, using the equalizer rather poorly and paying for it with their lives. SF5 here have the advantage. They have the opportunity to put pedal to the metal and just move forward and take away the inhibitor. Of course, we saw the turret was rather low previously by Minus, so whether they will finish this off is a whole different story. LZZ so tanky, might just be able to eat the damage.
Okay,
and
Minus has friends now.
yeah, Minus has friends. Very tanky, big undead friends.
He's a special kind of guy, Lucian. Hangs out with cool company like undead giants, and overall, SF5, excuse me, overall SF5 really playing the composition just to a much greater effect. Looks like they're closing in now for the Nexus turrets. Should be able to pick it up, no problems whatsoever. That Banner of Command minion actually doing a whole bunch of work. Not picking up the turret. There you go. Looks like they don't want to chance anything though, playing it more reserved. Just gonna back out after taking one Nexus turret, but overall you have to say the play from SF5 off the back of some curious decisions from SAJ.
But very characteristic play from SF5, playing it safe and backing off SAJ in a bit of a sticky situation now at the bottom, as well as the mid inhibitor down, because Baron will be up in 2 minutes, and whether they can defend that remains to be seen rather. 2 seconds on Dragon, and SAJ have the positioning on this one. Will they be able to take it away? Because the 5th Dragon for SF5 might just be what puts them over the edge and helps them take the game.
Yep. SF5 really will want that 5th Dragon. Culling used. Good Quicksilver Sash to block off the Tibber stun or reduce the Tibber stun. Yushin is actually not going to get hit up right here, but a flash in from Minus. There's the 5v4 with 60-second death timers. Optimus should be able to land the chains. No flash available to Nixwater. Just kidding. Does actually flash away. Su himself wanted to get the red buff, and it's like, no. Actually, he does get it, but no time to clear it out. Massive. I've never seen this before. Triple cannon minion wave. I've seen double, and I've already been like, that is a lot of money and a lot of push. I've never seen triple. That's like a 6th champion right there.
Yeah.
That blob on the minimap. It's crazy.
SF5 should be defending the massive wave they have in the top, but instead they're gonna hand it over to Su, who will get more gold in his pocket. Not sure why they didn't convert earlier, deciding to now. A bit of a misplay coming from SF5. Still a rather large wave though nonetheless. Minus and Carrot have the front line. Now Jinky just jumps in, wants to find Nixwater, but still tanking up the turret with his Cataclysm. Will take the Lantern out, and here comes Lovita with the Death Mount. He gets Chilling Smited out and will not be able to converge. Meanwhile, on the mid and bot of ZZ, as well as Optimus converging onto Safety, who gets taken out immediately. Double Distortion, or excuse me, double Sigil of Malice into chains will kill him. Minus falling over to Lovita. A bit of a misplay, and with your AD carry down, SF5 has to back off Yushin. Nixwater gets knocked out by a Decimating Smash. Optimus gets taken down. A bit of a frame drop there, but it was the Tibbers to kill down the LeBlanc, the very deceitful LeBlanc in fact.
SF5 just not quite on the same page right there. It looked like some people were going straight for the Nexus. Some people wanted the last inhibitor. And credit to SAJ to just, you know, call their bluff right there. Lovita especially did a fantastic job. We saw him draw out the Chilling Smite, draw out the box, you know, very, very importantly on the side of Carrot. And with the death timers this long, SAJ makes their way over to Baron with honestly just a window, a very, very small window that they have to work with, but provided due to the fact that SF5 weren't on the same page in
Yeah,
that.
so
that
SF5 has to
last
fight for
engage.
this Baron here, and big ultimates from SAJ still up. Glacial Prison and Equalizer. If they can find the kill though, it'll be very simple. Yushin and Levita jumping on the back. Equalizer falls square onto Jinky and Su, jumping over the wall to pick up the kill now. Carrot off the side wants to find the hook onto Levita or even delay this Baron take. It will not be connected though. Nixwater and company will pick up the Baron now. Carrot in a whole ton of trouble. Su tries to converge, but to no effect. That at the end of the day it was safety in the base, who was safely clearing out the waves.
This is very interesting now. SAJ have managed to take three Barons? 3 Barons, I believe. No, that can't be right. 2 Barons. 2 Barons, and the struggle that was not apparent for SF5, but now is can they themselves, you know, teamfight as 5?
Yeah.
Because what we've seen in the past is not so much them, you know, fighting 5-on-5 or initiating it. I should say, you know, more precisely, SF5 haven't been the ones initiating. It's been SAJ kind of giving them, you know,
The chance
faulty
to
initiations.
collapse. Yeah.
Chances to collapse. And now we're seeing SF5 trying to close. Yes, they have 2 inhibitors down. You would think just go 5, you know, 5 members strong top side. But for whatever reason,
Respawning soon.
that doesn't seem the natural thing for them. And it's showing right now. I mean, Def Bush, when you only have 1 lane that you need to push up, is this really necessary?
Respawning
I highly doubt SAJ will wander into this bush. And
Yeah, Flavors asking the important questions
what
here.
is going on? SF5, man.
SF5 playing a bit weirdly. Mid lane inhibitor respawning. SF5 giving a lot of time to SAJ, maybe respecting the Baron buff a bit too much as the game draws to a 45-minute mark. SAJ have to make something happen soon with this Baron, because SF5, once it wears off, you should think that that's the go sign, that's the go signal for them to run on into the base and hopefully find the Nexus kill, because only one Nexus turret still alive, 2 inhibitors exposed. Wouldn't be too hard for the Saigon Fantastic 5 squad to at least pick up the win here.
Yeah, this late into the game, we're seeing full item builds pretty much across the board, with the exception of maybe Yushin as well as Carrot. But we saw very, very importantly as well in that last fight, when the last inhibitor was being attempted by Minus, he was left all alone, and Lovita actually managed to take him down even through the QSS, and that was due to the fact that Carrot didn't have much to offer, in the sense that his box had already been drawn out by Lovita. So very good posturing by Lovita, you know, even before the inhibitor was under fire, to draw out a lot of the PO that was going to be available from Carrot and then find Minus in a solo situation. That can't happen for SF5 again. They really need Minus to stay alive, obviously, since he's 10 kills with a full build. Because even though he's 10 kills up, you know, 46 minutes in, Graves has actually been able to catch up, you know, quite a fair bit. It's not the same amount of crazy, insane damage, because obviously he's wearing a Banshee's Veil, which is fully defensive as compared to the semi-defensive item of the Mercurial Scimitar, but it's still a big thing. Minus cannot afford to get soloed out by the Zed.
Yeah, if he gets caught by a Flash Tibbers or Glacial Prison, he'll be forced to use the Mercurial Scimitar to get out of a sticky situation, but if the death mark comes after, well, Minus is going to be falling immediately. Jinky uses the Chilling Smite to stop safety's recall, and the mid lane Levita wants to find Ozizi. Ultima's getting caught here, has to juke back to his distortion, and the tank and the assassin fighting it out.
Really nice move by Optimus to get safety that low. They know that the dragon will be respawning in about just now, actually. Getting the jungler low is extremely key. And remember, 5th dragon if SF5 manages to take this out.
Oh, the Glacial Prison onto 2 members. The equalizer in the back is so good. SAJ might just take this team fight. The dragon going over to SAJ. That's no 5th dragon buff for SF5. The Cataclysm on the back. Only onto Nixwater, who buys some time with the Zhonya's Hourglass. Jinky gonna use his flag and drag to escape out of here, but the Shadow Flash damage onto Su is good, and only Optimus left together with Ozizi. Optimus has to run away. Ozizi trying his best to clear the waves. Distortion being popped to get out of there, but Nixwater and Su are chasing so well. Decimating Smash to stall the chase even more, and Su critting for 1,000 per auto attack now. This should be game for SF5 if they can converge. Respawn timers are at a minute. With the AD carry still alive for SAJ, they could push in for the win.
Very, very long death timers, but there's still Saigon as well as LeBlanc though, so I think that will be enough defense to deny them, but they might be able to get a turret if Su can stay alive though, but the Ignite ticking, no, that's just the Grievous Wounds actually from Morel and Nomicon, not the Ignite. That was used already by Optimus, but so far the defense, the two-man defense, actually posing a lot of trouble for SAJ. There is safety coming in to tank the turrets. Optimus coming in from the back right here. Looking to double distortion perhaps. Oh.
Deathmark being used. Optimus jukes back to the original Shadow and Lavita caught confused. Now Su has to kite around this Renduin's Omen being popped and Nyx Water again taken very low. The Equalizer once again buying more time. OZZ very low now. Optimus' clone in the front doing as much confusion as possible, and Optimus picks up Lavita with the distortion. Su right there getting taken low by the culling and will be called out of the game now. 2 AD carry as well as mid lane for SAJ down. SF5 once again in the driver's seat. 70 seconds respawn timers on SAJ. My goodness, this has been such a back and forth game. And speaking of fourth, Unstoppable Onslaught not catching Nyx Water there. Glacial Prison being used to disengage, and Nyx Water has to get the heck out of dodge right now. He can't stick around on ZZ. He's too tanky, but Leandri's doing its work. The flash, can he get the lantern? Can he get the hook and play? Carrot wants to find it, does not connect with the hook, and they all get chased back to the base. Meanwhile on the top side, Yushin gets found out by Jinky. He has to McHale's himself, but he's still stuck in the Cataclysm. He's stuck right in there with Jinky, and Jinky might want to pick up this support, and he falls immediately.
Wow, a dramatic series of events. I want to recap it all, but it's still quite a tenuous situation for SAJ right here. They don't have the AD carry. That's the important consistent damage that they need. Rumble Ultimate is available. It's going to have to be absolutely spot on. Remember, Safety burned his ultimate just a few moments ago to buy Nyx Water life and potential defense against the SF5 squad, but it's not looking good for them. That's
Equalizer was
decent
used.
Equalizer. 3
seconds onto Su, and I think SF5 has to get out of here. They've overextended their welcome by just a bit, and now the response coming from SAJ. Can they find a kill? Can they get an elimination on a target from SF5 to close out the game? Respawn timers are so far in. If you get a kill, the person is going to be out of the next two fights at least. Lavita moving forward with the Yomus does not get a death mark down to anyone, so no deaths across the board yet. Carrot and Minus sticking around for quite a while. Baron spawning at this point. SAJ might have the chance to sneak it away from SF5 right now.
3 inhibitors down. All SF5 need to do is just posture around the Baron or just go for it the moment the minion waves crash onto the enemy Nexus. And it's a dramatic kind of moment in the game when we got to that dragon, the 5th dragon that should have been SF5's, but SAJ, you know, 50 minutes into the game, finally put their composition together. We saw a massive Glacial Prison, followed up by the Timbers, followed up by the Equalizer, and then of course, you know, Minus is kind of drawn away or zoned away from, you know, all the zones that are being created, and then Lavita zeroes in on it. That's the way that every team fight, you know, post 20 minutes should have gone. SAJ finally find it, but then they themselves do a little bit of a mistake, a gaffe, and try and push, you know, unsuccessfully against the 2 members of Optimus and Ozizi, who, by the way, fantastic defense, especially from Optimus. He definitely will get MVP if his team, you know, gets this game, but he really did a fantastic job as one of those 2 members defending.
SF5 coming into the base of SAJ now with the Baron and the inhibitors all taken down. Looking very positive for the red team here. SF5, the sister team of SAJ, might just want to take this first game. Ozizi putting out slight taunt to gold members from SAJ into engaging, and the chains and the distortion being used onto safety. He is very low now. The Glacial Prison still available, and Nyx Water falls even after using the Equalizer. The second one to fall will be Lavita, and Minus, however, will go down to the death mark, and this is very tricky for SF5 here. They have no more damage. Yushin has to run away from the base. Carrot as well as Ozizi chasing down the Soul Furnace will not take him down, and meanwhile in the Fountain, it is Optimus and Minions that takes down game 1 for SF5, and they will go over with a very positive start in this game.
And I think the issue right there that we should just be very clear to all our viewers is that it took way too long for SAJ to come together as a team. They honestly had a monster team fight. You know, you could see the moment, you know, even that little bit of CC lands onto Minus, he so quickly has to cleanse. And then Lovita says, alright, there goes your QSS buddy, goes for him, gets the kill so easily, right? But SAJs just weren't able to bring that kind of team fighting prowess until 50 minutes in, where they had 3 inhibitors down, and you're up against